Good morning, ladies. Good morning. Everybody doing okay this morning? Good,
Good.
good, good. Well, I want to thank you first and welcome you to In Their Own Words. We're going to start today by introducing our first presenter, Dhayana Alejandrina,
Yes, yes.
and DaVeata Williams, aka Lady V, the poet. Well, first, we'll get to the first question. We're going to ask each one of you, and we'll start with you first, Diana, to tell us what you would like the literary or poetry community to know about you.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So my name is Dhayana Alejandrina, and I am a poet, community facilitator, writing mentor, and how I always like to say, a student of life. I started writing at a very young age when I lived in Dominican Republic. That is where I'm from. And before moving to the United States in 2009, my work is very centered on the human experience, honest human experience and emotions. And so creative writing is really where I find a home. Um, Rhyme poetry, and I like to experience in different ways when it comes to my poetry and stanzas and periods and comas. But most importantly, I just really find joy in capturing our human journey and expressing that authenticity and that love and that community aspect of what poetry can create and the impact it has on us as a community and as poets. So yeah, that's a little bit about what my poetry is and who I am.
And you are published. I think that you have a new book out.
Yes, I did hybrid publishing in 2021. Agridulce Poetry and Prose is my debut book, and I have been blessed with a community that has always been very supportive in seeing me and giving me the opportunities to share my work and also do workshops. That's something that I'm really passionate about. So yeah.
Okay. All right. And next we have DaVeata Williams, aka Lady V, who I have known. It feels like I always think about you, V, and I think I remember her when she was just DaVeata. Welcome. So tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, yes, I'm now DaVita Williams Poe. I got married 5 years ago, so gotta include the last hyphenated name also. It's like your name gets longer, but definitely I am a spoken word artist. I'm a creative entrepreneur. I'm a hostess of now this month we have three open mic variety shows in Atlanta, Georgia. If you can imagine that, it's like, oh my gosh, happy National Poetry Month. But I'm an author. I wear a lot of tiaras for creative expression. So my motivation is to provide stages and microphones for voices that need to be heard. There was a time when I didn't think that I was heard by anybody, so I started writing books and I started getting on stages and I started, performing my work and inspiring other people. So I'm very happy that my role now is to not only put out my books and put out my art and things like that, but I'm also providing stages and microphones for other people to get up and be able to share their talent as well. So that's me in a nutshell.
Well, in a nutshell, yeah. I was gonna say your mom too. Where's little man?
Yes.
Yeah, but your son, he's two now, right?
He'll be 3 years old on April the 20th. And
Oh,
so I mean he like next week he'll be a whole another year old. And I'm just like every day he's learning new words, and he actually shocked me when he's, memorizing my poetry and stuff like that. I'm like, wait a minute, you're only two.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's exposure, exposure. It's a great thing. It really is. Now, both of you are based in the Atlanta area, and so is this the first time the two of you have actually shared a stage or a venue?
No, no, no. I mean, I connected with Diana. It was a couple of years ago, and she's
Mm-hmm.
coming up to my open mic shows and things like that, bringing her friends. So I thank you for
Yes.
exposing my shows to everybody that you know and everything like that. We were going to do a writing workshop at my studio, but it just didn't never come together the right way with the equipment and stuff like that. But that's still on the horizon. So I'm
Yes,
I'm definitely
yes.
I'm very respectful of her talent and her, workshop abilities, because I mean, I've read her resume and everything like that. I've seen her Instagram, and it's kind of like, I'm really proud to be connected to somebody that's,
Mm,
really doing her thing.
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you.
And you, Diana, you are not exactly, you're a little bit outside of the Atlanta area. And so, I mean,
Mhm.
just you've managed to hook up with Lady V, but what else have you been doing in the Atlanta area? I mean, because you're from the Dominican Republic originally.
Mhm.
So are you connected with that community?
Yes, of course. Yeah, we still do a lot of wonderful things. So yeah, right now I'm in Mableton. That's where my husband and I just bought a home. So we're settling in and it's been a blessing. And aside from, work, I am currently planning 2 workshops in person. I have a workshop coming up at a Nourish Botanica, and that's going to be a wonderful creative writing workshop coming up on the 20th. And then aside from that, I have a open mic. It's going to be on YouTube with Dominican Writers Association. We work very closely when it comes to helping emerging writers get established with the self-publishing process, open mic opportunities as well. So we connect online because of the distance, but we do a lot of events throughout the year. But here in the area is going to be 2 workshops. And then I'm also working on something with Cherry's Books and More. So I'm looking forward to that collaboration. And yeah, and I'm also the lead poetry and cultural collaborator for a magazine. They're called African Noir Magazine. And I have been on that role now for about 3 months. And it's been a great opportunity to give back to the community and highlight emerging writers because I know what it feels like to start and think I'm not so big, so who's going to give me a chance? Who's going to feature me? And so I took it upon myself to create a poetry series where if you're just getting started with your poetry and you like people to know who you are and just share your story, I have written interviews and video interviews that I've been doing with poets. So that's going amazing. Yeah, I'm blessed.
Wow, you ladies, both of you are amazing. But you're sitting there in Atlanta, so how it's only two and a little bit of change to get to Augusta. We need to bring some of that energy out here. We would just love to. And well, V, you've already worked with Arts in the Heart. We worked on that for years, doing the stage there. But it sounds like there's a lot of diversity in the audiences that you all are working with there in Atlanta. We would love to see more of the Caribbean influence, Diana, because we don't do that as much here in Augusta. So please just share all of that information because the Caribbean writers are phenomenal. They're some of the strongest voices in the world, and that's great what you're doing. So, is there anything else you want to add about the poetry or the poets that you're working with? Um, I mean, would you like,
Um,
with in terms of if a genie were to pop into our chat right now and say, "Listen, I'm going to grant you one wish." It's poetry month, so it's got to be poetry based. What would you like to see happen in Atlanta? And you can take it individually.
ooh, ooh, lady, do you want to go first?
Yes, yeah, I think she's stalling. She has to think about it a little bit, but I mean, if a genie told me, what do you want for poetry? I want every poet in Atlanta to stop competing with each other and just put all our resources together, because that's going to be so powerful if that would happen. I
Mm,
mean, I don't want to mention any names or nothing like that, but it's just like if we could have a big poetry festival or a big, kind of like an Arts in the Heart for the weekend or whatever, and then all the communities of poetry in Atlanta got together. That will be a very powerful thing. Right now it's very kind of segregated because we're all fighting for the same stage. But yeah, my genie would be like, yeah, let's all sit at the table, put all of our money together, put all of our ideas together, and have a wonderful big humongous thing, and that would be awesome.
amen.
Wow, I hear you. And then and it would spread all the way to Augusta, all the way to
It would be
Savannah.
nationwide. I mean, people would be inspired by it. They're like, oh yeah,
Mm,
let's do this in New York, or let's do this in California. I mean, I think that if Atlanta was the head of that, then I mean that would be a spark to everybody else.
Hmm.
absolutely. Wow. You took it right off of me because I was literally thinking I would love a more inclusive, less competitive, like poetry festival where we have everyone has their little stand for whatever they create, their books, and we can just truly have a space where there's no gatekeeping, where it's just honest conversation, where we're truly helping each other, because that is part of what I do now. I don't want to gatekeep information. If I can help you in any way and tell you how I've done it, which I do. I have a workshop that literally talks about everything I've done to get to where I am today. Which apps do I use to post? How did I make my online poetry tour because it was COVID? And so I 100% agree with you. I think that we need less competition and more thoughtful, intentional unity as poets, because at the end of the day, we're all just honoring our gift and our voice, and we want to connect that way, right? There should be no competition. There's room for all of us to continue to grow and reach an immense amount of people around the world. So I don't see why competition is needed. So I agree with you.
Wow, I was gonna say yeah, ditto, ditto, and ditto. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. That's the beauty of the of poetic spirit, where you want to be inclusive. You want to give emerging voices their share of the stage, and that is listen, Jeannie, but they want to do it in Augusta. I just want to put that for the record. Well,
I
that's a
mean,
great segue.
Marriott, if they want to give us a conference room, go ahead.
Well, that brings us to a great segue for the next question, because this is something that we all have in common. The NFSPS convention, which is coming to Roswell, Georgia, June 5th through the 10th. And both of you ladies are playing a role there. So, want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I'll start. I'll raise my hand. I'll volunteer. I'm very, very honored that GPS, Georgia Poetry Society, is sponsoring me to be the keynote speaker, the Georgia keynote speaker on Friday for the NFSPS convention, because it's just like, man, I look at my resume, I look at my stuff that I've been doing in Augusta and in Atlanta and everywhere else, and it's just like, I have a lot to say. It's just like I kind of been waiting for this opportunity to let let the poetry world know about the topic that I'm talking about. The title of my speech is let me see, the power of poetry to change minds and change lives. And so, I mean, that's really going through my experience, my journey, but also, once again, like I like to do, invite you in and say, hey, your words are valuable. Your words, your poetry, your art, whatever it is, you need to put it out there to the world, because that's what's going to inspire somebody else to do great things. So really, that's the basis behind my keynote speech, to encourage the people in the audience, like, don't hold back on that book. Don't hold back on that, even that rap or that hip hop has got poetry in it. They're like, don't hold back on your songs, don't hold back on your art, because that's what's going to propel somebody else to do what they need to do to inspire the world as well.
Yeah.
So I'm so happy that Lucinda is my cheerleader. And thank you for, always having my back with this. And I'm looking forward to Friday, June the 7th.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was going to say, well, I can appreciate you promoting the keynote, but what you haven't shared with the audience is that way back, I guess in the summer, I called you and said, V, you know what? I've got they say it's a convention and I'm going to need your help. And you have been there with feedback and with connecting the poets for the slam part of the convention. You're doing the keynote, and you've been there for us every step of the way. We need to shout you out here for that. So thank you for that. I'm looking forward to us having a very positive experience there at the convention. And so, Dhayana. Mhm.
Yes, of course. So I am going to be facilitating a creative writing workshop. It's titled Collaborative Storytelling. And I'm really excited for this, because I love to host spaces where people really tap into their creativity without limitations, without too much structure. Like I wanna know where your mind is gonna take you. I wanna know, what this character is going to become, or how you can incorporate prose and poetry into a story in different ways. And so this is going to be an opportunity for participants to get creative through different prompts, through different writing styles, and for us to discuss the story together, to really kind of feed off each other, and see where it takes us. And that is really what I live for, just creating safe spaces where people can tap into the most creative aspects of their minds without feeling shame or fear or judgment. So I'm really looking forward to this workshop.
Yeah, and now that workshop is scheduled for Friday, the same day as your keynote, V, and they have it
Yes.
under the youth
Mhm.
festival arm of the convention. We did an interview the other day with Kelsey Bigelow and Elizabeth Johns. Michard is her author name, and they are actually part of putting together getting the youth to come. The one thing that I asked them, and I guess I'll share it with you, is that the age group I think is from 13 to 21. My suggestion was a lot of people, my kids are like adults now, and so from the age of 13 to 21, do you know what grades are entailed in the ages of 13 to 21?
Let's see. And then they're like high school, they're like ninth and 10th grade.
Right. I would
Now,
say so.
and see, that's my point, because you get me 13, you're thinking that could be middle school, depending on what county
That
you're
is
in.
actually true. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so we've actually worked that out. So we have a flyer, and I wanted to share that with both of you, where we're promoting it to the area schools, and we need to get that to you, because for the youth festival, all day it's free. So the food, the workshops, the slam, I think they get to win $1,000 if they want to compete after what you've shared with them. And so I'm going to need to get you that flyer and share it with you. But what you're doing with youth, between Kelsey and the other gentleman, I think his name is Caleb, they are just too excited about showcasing not just the youth of Atlanta, but Georgia and the United States. And so we really appreciate you coming on board for that. And so, if anybody who is listening to the sound of our voices here is interested in the NFSPS convention, the website is nfsps dot net, right, B? Dot net.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
.net. Go to that one.
And we'll be posting it in the chat, and look out for some of the other contest information there. You can win prize money, and it's going to be a great event there in Roswell. And so, with some of the time that we have left, because I know that we're kind of tight here, do you have a poem? Would you like to leave the audience with your own words, a poem of your choice? Just go for it. Mini open mic.
Like you first, you first.
I'm called to read a poem from my second collection, which is not published yet, but I finished. And yeah, I think that this is the perfect opportunity to share this piece, and it says a lot about who I am, so why not? It's titled, and it's written in more of a prose, Aging with Wisdom. I refuse to be like anyone else, to fit into a box of expectations and limitations. I want to fill my lungs with the passion and gentleness I give. I am a wild heart that easily loves, cares, listens, and cries. A fourth name many have difficulty with. My features represent the history of my ancestors. My blood dances to the melody of my culture, and the companionship of nature satisfies my soul. I am a solar system waiting to be explored, to gravitate towards the places that feel like home, to plant roots deeper than the infinity of a black hole. I don't want to be like anyone else. I am a rare flower blooming on unknown grounds. I am the answered prayers, the love and the pain carried by my mother's vessel. I am the poems written by my father's hand, his vulnerability genuine and free of shame, I am a story waiting to be written, shared, and felt. I am the beginning and the end, one with the high source, an image of his endless love. I am the dreams of women who came before me, who paved the way, held my hand, protected, guided, and loved me beyond the existence of this earth. I am the words screaming to be born, a legacy to be known, and the voices from the past reclaiming their place in the world. I refuse to be like anyone else. I want to be me, to listen to the birds sing like their songs are dedicated only to me. I am the ocean breeze, the lunar eclipse, the ritual to calm the chaos. I am melanin, the ancestral medicine spilling from my lips, blood flowing through my fingertips, stories painted with imagery. I am infinity, forever living in pages that will age and discolor like leaves. Words that will hold the wisdom of my human journey, bravery, vulnerability, heart open like it's never known hostility. That is who I choose to be, a wondrous spirit. See through me, I am not afraid of feeling. Sink into me like the home you always need. Hold on to me like the earth holds all the living. Thank you.
Wow. Oh man, that one line about I am part of the solar system. Today, there's going to be a solar eclipse. I think it's a total eclipse depending on where you live. Oh,
Yes.
just, I mean, that's so beautiful.
Thank
It brings
you.
into mind. Do you identify as a spoken word poet, slam poet, hip hop, or just we call them page poets, right? Like, right, B, you write it down and then you
Yeah,
recite.
what a podium poets.
Poet.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
It probably is a podium page poet, honestly. I've done a little bit of spoken word, but it's something that I'm still slowly diving into, you know? So yeah, I guess mainly a page poet and when it's resonating the most and I feel like I can recite the spoken word by heart than a spoken word poet.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I agree. Yes, page a podium is my preferred form of performance. But now we have you, and I'll just say, Lady V. What have you got? Because I know you can do many things here.
Well, this is I always gravitate towards this one because it's my hardest. The first poem I ever memorized in life. I'm like, yes, every time you memorize that first piece, it's just like, okay, well now I can get up on stage and I don't have to hold any paper. So that this is my first spoken word piece ever in life, and I wrote it because at the time I was feeling overwhelmed as a creative entrepreneur, as a poet, as a everything else I have to be. So it's just like this poem kind of gives a meaning behind it, like it's all over the place, but you have to kind of center yourself and then find your meaning in that centering. So it's called In the Midst of All the Quiet. In the midst of all the quiet, you got an inner riot telling you to get up and break the silence. Take a step, try to intercept, try to break the mold. Remember what the past untold. Learn from mistakes, reiterate, back up, let's try again. I'm looking out for true friends. I can count them all on one hand. Trust the chosen few that understand and comprehend what I'm going through. Try to find the meaning in the looking glass I'm looking through. Can you see the inner grief that's there looking back at me, wondering how to bring myself up out of this rut? Take a step out of line before my time runs completely out. I hear them shout across the fence with the greener grass. I try to sleep to let it pass, but it never fails. Dreams turn into fairy tales. Fear tells me not to go. What about an obstacle? What about what people think? What about my future goals? Shall I let them slip away? Wait another day, then the way to escape might be gone. I'd sing a sad song. Can't go along with what might have been. I want my now to be remembered in the end. Let me send this message out to you. Rise up from where you are to plan for what you could do.
Preach, my sisters, my sisters, my sisters. Hey,
So good.
He's snapping his fingers. He likes it. He likes it.
yeah. Oh wow, wow, yeah. I was gonna say it's funny, V, because every time I think about I wrote a poem about golf because of a workshop that you did. You are an excellent presenter. You inspire with the touch of a finger, and I so appreciate having you here.
Thank you,
But
thank you.
yeah, and so are there any parting words? Are there any social media outlets, or is there any place that you want the listeners to follow you at? If you want, you can shout them out right now because I know we had a time thing for you, Dhayana. So
Oh,
we'll
yeah. Of
close.
course. So my Instagram is my name, Dhayana Alejandrina. You can look me up and it'll come up. And I'm currently still open for submissions when it comes to any emerging writers who would like to be featured for the magazine. And that is African Noir Magazine. Perhaps I can provide this information as well for you to post. And then I created a space called the Creative Writing Hour that meets on Thursdays and Sundays for free. Thursdays 8 to 9, Sundays 11 to 12. And this is a space that I created for the community to get together via Zoom and work on their individual projects in community. So we feel that sense of accountability, but also the warmth of community as we are working on our manuscripts or working on our workshops or just trying to bring our ideas and dreams come through. So yeah, that is open to anyone who is looking for community and support and to get together and have a more, I don't know, structure uh, um, when it comes around, like when it comes to like your writing, a more structure, guidance, or yeah. So that's a little bit about what I'm doing, and it's Dhayana Alejandrina on all platforms.
Okay, and the spelling of your name is here on in it comes up under your picture. So that's where
That's correct.
yeah, all one word or lowercase so that they'll
Yeah.
know.
So Diana space Alejandrina, and it
Okay,
will come up.
okay,
Thank you
great.
so much.
And then V, I mean, where are you now? Because I know you're just doing all kinds of things. Any closing remarks that you'd like to add?
Definitely. I mean, if you're in the Atlanta area this Saturday, we're having our Westview Makerspace show, April the 13th, featuring Vitamin D. He's a visual artist and a spoken word artist. So we're going to be 5:30 to 8 p.m. at Westview Makerspace this Saturday. And also on this Wednesday, April the 10th, you can catch me on Facebook Live. We're doing Live from the Beat Lab. And that's me and Alan Poe and DJ Voltaire will be there. But we call it news that indie artists can use. So it's kind of like we talk about upcoming events, we talk about the topic of the day. It's always, something to expand your art. It's always something to, talk about to make you a better artist on the show. And we also, like to interact with the people on Facebook. You can put your comments down in the comment section and we'll talk back to you. We're not just a one-way conversation. So if you got some questions about Art Out Loud or about poetry or about anything in Atlanta, then we can talk back to you. So you can find me on Instagram at Art Out Loud ATL or at Lady V the Poet. So it's not the poet, it's DaPoet. So people are like, I tried to put in Lady V the Poet. I'm like, well, that ain't me, that ain't me. So it's at Lady V DaPoet. And you can also find us at Art Out Loud ATL on Instagram.
Yeah, and I was going to share a little bit about Alan because I've seen you guys set up. Alan, your husband, what's he into? Just share that.
I mean, CEO Alan Poe is a music producer, a DJ. He does all the music at our shows, all independent music that he produces, and he's jumped into custom apparel. And so, like, it's not just our, logo on the shirts and stuff. Like, people are coming to us for, we have a nonprofit organization. We want our logo on our shirts and our hats, and people with schools and stuff like that. So it's really exciting that we can create a T-shirt or a hat or a backpack with your logo on it as well. So our studio in Atlanta is called the Art Out Loud Creative Space Alan Poe Studio, and he's got 2 recording studios, a live stream room, and we just kind of have all the resources you need for independent artists under one roof.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it, and that's why the two of you, if you get some time, it would just blow. It would just blow Atlanta's mind if the two of you could do more things together. Well, ladies, I want to thank you so much for coming out today and being a part of this
Thank
program.
you.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you. If I don't see you before June 5th, I will definitely see you by then. And until then, looking up in the skies because there's an eclipse today. So hopefully you can maybe catch a glimpse of it. But love you ladies very, very much.
Thank you
And
so much. Love you too. Thank you for the space. Bye.
Bye.
let's see.